So what is up, everyone? It's good to be back with another video. And this time we've got some British politics. I haven't really seen much of the Nigel Farage press conferences. I mean, he's doing one every week apparently. He's trying to do like Trump, running around the country, trying to like get people to like vote for him. And the first thing I noticed was Britain is broken. What? Reform will fix it. Like, Jimmy will fix it. Like, Brexit will fix it. It's going to be very interesting. I haven't actually seen this video, so we're going to go through it. It's 53 minutes long. And it's a good job I noticed it. I put the volume up. Yeah. I'm so intrigued to actually see. I haven't watched one rally of Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage is a UK politician who has been in politics for what? Since he was like, I don't know, knee height, maybe? And he's always been not even second, third the best in most of his life. He had one incident where he was in a plane crash, which was terrible. Like, you don't wish that on anyone. He's known for standing in front of European Parliament and just, you know, being boisterous, you could say. Different type of boy, you know. He's a lot dumber, but you would say boisterous, very energetic, very aggressive, very I don't know, trying to like fit in, but still can't. Hence why he goes to the pubs and drinks some pints. But now he wants to be the Prime Minister. Come on, behave, Nigel. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to say. The guy is quite funny, you know, I'll give him his dues. He's quite entertaining in a stupid way, but yeah, he's quite entertaining. So, with all that being said, let's actually watch and see what he has to say. I'm actually quite intrigued. This is his latest rally, by the way. He'll be doing it for like the next 2 years as well. He'll be doing it for a long time. But I just want to actually like see what he's actually saying right now, because he's like trying to be like Trump. They've now got like 225,000 members, because he's like spending so much money and he's trying to copy Trump. But I want to actually see what he's actually saying. I think he's a stupid person. I think he would actually make Britain worse. He voted for Brexit. You could say it helped us, like, for what? Tariffs from Trump? But we're still running to Europe anyway. I mean, these people are stupid. Anyway, let's hear what he has to say. I'm very intrigued.
So to tell you more about that, I'd like to introduce you to the leader of Reform UK, the Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, and the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Mr. Nigel Farage.
The next Prime Minister? He's not the next Prime Minister. Behave yourself. Look at him. You kidding? I do apologise for pausing right now, but he's actually like a Parliament member for like a small town, and he said, I'm going to work really hard to get businesses into this small town. But here he is, running around the whole country, trying to be Prime Minister. You see how stupid these people are? They're really, really dumb.
Good morning, everybody.
He's Trump's friend.
Perhaps it was just good judgment.
It makes sense.
As party chairman, because the big thing we had to do after the last general election was to professionalise the party, and we've done that. And I'm very proud of the fact we've managed to put more candidates in the field.
This is his actually third party, by the way. He's third party. He's failed every time, but it's his third party. But Britain's broken this time, and Nigel will fix it, just like Jimmy did. If anyone doesn't know who Jimmy is, go and look him up. Just type Jimmy fix it. You'll get a real understanding on this type of people. real fast.
for May the 1st than any other party. But today I wanted to talk about an issue that you may all think is a national issue and one that perhaps doesn't impact on the May the 1st elections, but you would be wrong. Indeed, the population explosion that has happened in this country has had a bigger effect on the lives of more people than any other single issue. And it's interesting because up until 1996,
It is interesting, Nigel. Let me actually tell you statistics, Nigel. Something that you won't actually tell the people right now when you're standing there on the platform playing with your fingers because you're nervous and you're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, I don't know. Even though you've done it for fucking years. This is the statistics. When Britain was in the European Union, Britain was forced to take immigrants in. Every country, from Germany, Spain, France, Britain, Greece, all the countries had to take in immigrants. Okay? Britain takes in more immigrants right now than they ever did before Brexit. After Brexit, there's more bots, there's more fucking immigrants coming in. Do you know why? Because realistically, behind the scenes, whoever's the UK Prime Minister, we're still attached to the European Union. The European Union, instead of them taking everybody in, they know that Britain's no really that strong because they've been with Britain for fucking years. Okay? They know that Britain doesn't have the infrastructure to actually stop boats coming into the country. So France literally pays people to come over in the boats. They pay people to come over on the boats. But here comes superhero Nigel. Superman Nigel is here to save the day because Britain is broken. And Nigel told you, vote Brexit. You must leave Brexit so we can take control of our islands. Oh, wait a minute, our islands are weaker since we've been in Brexit. But don't worry, Nigel's here to save the day. It's a bit like, let me create a problem and then I'll be the solution. I'm the man you need to come to. Mr. Nigel Farage. He'll fix it. Just like Jimmy fixed it.
This wasn't even a political debate. Indeed, when I was first elected to the European Parliament in
Oh, he's talking about European Parliament. Good.
didn't appear in my election literature or our manifesto at all. And that's because simply from Windrush right up until Mr. Blair became Prime Minister, net migration into Britain had run at an average of 30 to 50,000 people a year, sometimes higher.
30 to 35,000 a year. Let's check. Migrant flux to Britain in 2024. 728,000. In 2024, UK experienced both a surge in arrivals by small boats and high level of migration. Specifically, 36 people were detected arriving in the UK, but small boats. 25% increase compared to the previous year. Net migration, the difference between the immigration and is reached. It's literally so fucking high. The immigration is so high right now, Nigel, because of Brexit. Because Europe and France, they're literally taking these people in and they're paying them to go on boats and sending them over. I just researched that, by the way. I didn't even research this before I came on. I'm busy. I'm an incredible human being. I even have an understanding. I'm a thick person when it comes to this stuff. But you're not going to fix it, Jimmy. I mean, Nigel. Blame the pint, eh? Blame the pint.
Sometimes lower. It wasn't even a debate.
It's not a debate. You're a dummy.
Elections.
You're Trump 2.0, but thicker. He's dumb and you're dumber.
Was a good thing, something that was never ever to be questioned.
Why are you playing with your fingers?
Would be good for the economy. Would make us all better off.
Good for the economy, we would all be better off. Let's test that out. Let's try. Every time I click on YouTube, it puts my videos up, you know? How incredible is that? I don't even know why, I don't even watch them. I think it's just common sense, isn't it? Nigel Farage. Brexit speech. I don't even know what's going to appear, by the way. I'm just... Here we go. This is him in the European Parliament or something. Is it? Yeah, European Parliament.
Our national flags, but we're going to wave you goodbye, and we'll look forward in the future to working with you as sovereign.
If you disobey the rules, you get cut off. Could we please remove the flags?
Okay, this is him talking about...
The final chapter, the end of the road. A 47-year political experiment that the British, frankly, have never been very happy with. My mother and father signed up to a common market, not to a political union, not to flags, anthems, presidents, and now you even want your own army. For me, it's been 27 years of campaigning and over 20 years here in this Parliament. I'm not particularly happy with the agreement we're being asked to vote on tonight, but Boris has been remarkably bold in the last few months, and Miss von der Leyen,
Boris Johnson has been bold. Boris Johnson, the guy that literally, like, you could say fucking was the most idiotic Prime Minister Britain has ever had. Like, literally. The guy who's cheating on with a young girl, when his wife was pregnant. He's like, I mean, does anyone know Boris Johnson? Let me pull Boris Johnson up. Let's have a laugh. Look, it does it again. It always does that. America. I love my lifestyle. It's so incredible. Boris Johnson, I don't know. Fuck, gaffs, maybe? Is that even a thing? Does he have gaffs? Oh, here we go. This is him meeting world leaders.
I can't put any more garlands on. It's time to get the hell out of Dodge.
For a mayor who campaigned for office saying he didn't want to be a globetrotter, Boris Johnson ended up doing a fair bit. He was no stranger to foreign travel and not averse to putting his foot in it at times.
How are you? Welcome to New York, although I know it's your birthplace.
Back in 2015, he met possible future American President Hillary Clinton on a trip to New York, a woman about whom he had written this in a newspaper column in 2007. She's got dyed blonde hair, pouty lips and a steely blue stare, like a sadistic mental health nurse. Everything I came into politics to
I'm sure you'll accept that as a very distinguished politician. I'm sure she will take those words in the light-hearted spirit in which they were intended and written.
And in November last year, he got visiting Israel, he spoke out against a campaign to boycott the country's goods.
I reject completely the suggestion by some corduroy-jacketed, snaggle-toothed lefty academics in the UK.
Within a day, Palestinians had...
Okay. It's funny to talk about Palestine, by the way. It's always going to be Palestine, by the way, just to let you know. But, yeah, back to Nigel.
He's made it clear he's promised us there'll be no level
These people.
playing field. And on that basis, I wish him
Look, he's recording
success
them.
in the next round of negotiations. I really do. But the most significant point is this. What happens at 11 p.m. this Friday, the 31st of January, 2020, marks the point of no return. Once we've left, we are never coming back, and the rest, frankly, is detail. We're going, we will be gone. And that should be the summit of my own political ambitions. I walked in here, as I've said before, you all thought it was terribly funny. You stopped laughing in 2016. But my view has changed of Europe since I joined. In 2005, I saw the constitution that had been drafted by Giscard and others. I saw it.
This is him actually attacking the European Union, right? Turning around and saying that Brexit was the best thing that Britain could ever have. We were going to get our sovereignty back, we were going to get our islands back, we were going to get everything back. He felt real good about himself.
Rejected by the French in a referendum. I saw it rejected by the Dutch in a referendum, and I saw you in these institutions ignore them. Bring it back as the Lisbon Treaty and boast you could ram it through without there being referendums. Well, the Irish did have a vote and did say no and were forced to vote again. You're very good at making people vote again, but what we've proved is the British are too big to bully, thank goodness.
The British are too big to bully, but now there's more immigration, Nigel. I would love to sit and listen to your whole fucking speech through the whole, you know, pulling the little flag up at the end and stuff. But you voted for Brexit. We got a Brexit. And now you're here campaigning saying Britain is broken and we need to reform it and fix it. And you're going to be the one that's going to fix it for Britain. You, Nigel Farage, who's been campaigning for 20 years, been in the European Parliament for God knows how long, felt really proud and privileged at the fact that Britain had left, and now the economy is an absolute dire, just like most countries in the Western atmosphere. The only people that are actually growing are in the South. It's only a matter of time before Japan and South Korea and all that will move over, because they're not going to stick with your fucking ass, that's for sure. And you talk about France and Dutch and all the rest of it. Well, Dutch has actually got the most drugs available in the country, but they don't have much crime. We have the less drugs rules in our country, or laws, and we have the most crime to a degree. And when you talk about France, I mean, France is just like a croissant, isn't they? They're dry, they're bland, they're bare, they don't really have much anything to offer, but just, I don't know, fucking Legion. That's about it, really. But yeah, carry on, Nigel, and tell us how you're going to reform and fix Britain. Like Jimmy.
Up until at least 2010, was considered completely and utterly beyond the pale.
Remember, you voted for Brexit, Nigel.
Because I first started speaking out about open borders in 2004, when it became pretty obvious to me.
They're open more now.
Door to 8 and then 10 former communist countries, some of whom had an economy that were only the 7th the size of ours, would lead to a huge inflow of people. Although at least in those days, people that came did actually work. That sadly has now all changed. And since then, in every single general election, we've been made a series of promises.
Nigel, I wouldn't even trust this man right here, Nigel Farage. I wouldn't even trust him. If I was sitting in my toilet seat and I had no toilet roll, I wouldn't even trust him to go to the shop to actually pick up toilet roll. That's how much I don't even trust him. When I'm in a real emergency and he's in my home, I wouldn't even dare to ask this man to actually go to the shop to pick me toilet roll up. Do you know what I would do? I would sit in my sink, I would turn the tap on, and I would just wash my butt cheeks. I'd wash my butt cheeks until literally there was no smell left. That's how much I trust this man to actually run a country. He doesn't even know how to run a country. I'll tell you why he doesn't know how to run a country. He knows nothing about economics at all. Nothing. See, Nigel is a politician like most people, okay? And I'm going to break it down real simple. And it's really simple. I mean, I can go on for hours for about this. Nigel is the typical man who grew up and he wanted to be successful and found out that when he was trying to be successful, there was other people that were just that little bit brighter. So when he was in there, he realised that people were a little bit brighter than him, a little bit smarter, or just a little bit, knowing a little bit more in the inside, you know? Like, it's a bit like when you start a job. When you go and start a job and you meet someone, or even, like, do you know what, perfect example, by the way, is school. When you go into school the very first time, you start to meet people. You sit in a particular group. You talk to particular people. There's always another group somewhere that's always like that little bit of group that's got a bit of more niche about them, or a little bit more maybe brighter, or they just have more popularity. But you're the small group that sits in the corner like, I will get back to you one day, I will get you back one day. That's Nigel. Nigel was that guy who spent his time trying to be a politician and failed, and now he's like at the position where he even tried to accept money from Elon Musk, and then Elon was like, do you know what? I'm not even taking the chance with this guy. And Elon is a stupid person, by the way. Elon Musk is probably one of the stupidest males that you will actually find on this planet. He's really that stupid. He's really stupid, by the way. I'm not even like exaggerating. He's fucking stupid. The fact that his family are like Nazis, that's why he's doing the whole salutes and doing the Nazi signs and stuff. The guy's a complete degenerate. I mean, but only in America, you know, that's what they say, only in America. But, 'cause he fucking fails everywhere else, doesn't he? But even he turned around and said, Nigel, I ain't giving you a penny, bro. I'm not giving you nothing. So now Nigel's standing up here, trying to do the Trump Act. Britain's broken. Make America great again. Reform will fix it. You know, Trump will fix it. It's the same spiel. But, and he's saying like 225,000. There's like fucking like 86 million people in Britain. He's doing a terrible job. Okay, just looking at the numbers, just at the members anyway. If he had to become Prime Minister, I think Britain would be... I just don't see it. I don't think British people are that stupid. I mean, I don't think we are, but he's trying to play a trump card, and we know what trump cards looks like. They're terrible, they're pathetic, and they're not working. So I don't think it's going to work with Nigel either. I'm ranting a little bit, but I just want people to understand the basics on what I'm trying to actually say about this guy. He's been a politician for years. He's tried with multiple parties. He was fucking Brexit party. He's Reform. He's fucking... Can't remember the other party he was. He was with another party. See, the guy's so irrelevant. It's hard to remember who the fuck he is. You know what I mean? Like he the only thing I remember of him is he sits in a pub and drinks pints with the locals. But I mean, local people will like say anything to any like these people. These people are not very bright. Like if he walked up to me and said, "Let's have a pint," I would say, go and take a skinny dip in the fucking river. Go and take a boat to France. That's what I would say. I wouldn't even have a pint with him. He's not really... we'll actually watch him. Let's just watch him now and actually... I need to pause it at times because YouTube, they are in the same category. They love people like him. YouTube loves... their algorithm's actually quite... sadistic, really, because everything you see on your main page is always pedophilia or murderers or, you know, stupid people like him, stupid people like Musk, Trump, and the fucking list goes on. I mean, there's plenty of people I could actually name right now, but I'm not even going to give them a shout out because really me actually saying their names is actually giving them proper fucking, like, I would say me saying their names would actually give them actually fucking, I don't know, popularity. They don't have popularity. They're really like dumb, uneducated, kindergarten mindseted people, just like this guy right here. But we're going to listen to him anyway,
frankly,
so I can entertain myself to the stupidity.
The public being told what the parties think the public want to hear. In fact, know from polling what the public want to hear without any intention of delivering on it at all. Of course, the Conservatives, far worse than Tony Blair.
He'll deliver.
Net migration to tens of thousands promised in 2010, 2015, 2017, and then 2019. We were told substantially lower numbers. We now have a Labour government who've promised they will radically bring down the numbers coming into Britain, and we'll find out in June when we get the first ONS data whether that's
They can't.
although I very much.
You can't either, fucking
Prime
Farage.
Ministers, they would stop the boats, even that they would smash the gangs. Well, I'm afraid none of it has come true.
You won't either, Nigel. You can't stop the fucking boats.
Cost of the population explosion to this country. And I want to make this point very clear, that recent polling, particularly polling that was published last week in the Sun newspaper, which was the whole of the Midlands and the North, showed that we are now by far the most trusted party on this issue.
Shut up.
By far the most trusted.
Nigel, how can you be the most trusted person on this issue? You caused the fucking issue. He caused it. He literally caused it. He was one of the first guys to come out and say Britain needs to leave the European Union. He hated the European Union. It's quite funny. He worked in the European Union for so long that he hated it. And now that Britain's left the European Union, he's saying that, wait a minute, we've left the European Union. All these parties are letting all these immigrants in. What? You actually in 2021 or something, he like took a fucking camera or his phone, and he walked down to like the fucking beaches. And let's see if I can actually find it, because I don't want to like talk BS, you know what I mean? Let's see if Nigel Farage films boats. Boats and hoes. 4 years ago. Let's have a look at this, everyone. Let's look at Nigel, who voted for Brexit, and now he's like deliberately going down to a fucking beach, watching the immigration went higher since the Brexit, and he voted for Brexit because he said Brexit would work.
So here we are, middle of the English Channel. We're right on the edge of British and French territorial waters.
He's out fishing as well, he's having a good old time, isn't he? Typical politician.
All of these are classed as search and rescue missions, but the truth of it is, this is a massive criminal enterprise that is organising all of this, making vast sums of money. You can see the boats absolutely packed, all being charged a minimum of €5,000 each for the criminal gangs to make this crossing. I mean, you can't believe when you see how close the water is to the edge. I mean, how massively overcrowded this is. We could put them under tow, but there's no point because we know that Border Force, the vessel, is on its way from Dover, so we will just kind of keep guard here. We are now going back into French waters. What we know is that a French naval vessel has been seen escorting boats out of French waters to get them into British waters, then they're off their hands.
See, this is the stupid people that we're dealing with in like every country, by the way. This is the typical politician. Like, they're not very bright, they're not very educated. When you've got normal people in society, or just try to make a living, or they work all day, these are the sort of like stupid people that you're getting. Even over in my country as well. It's not just America, it's like in every country. I mean,
leader to do something about it. It'll be good for the economy, is what we were told. Well, 30 years ago, 7% of the work.
you said it would be good for the economy, Nigel. You said leaving Brexit would give us our shores back. We would be able to have more production. We would have better jobs. We would have better everything. But you knew that was false, Nigel. You knew it was false. You knew that it would make Britain poorer and worse, and not because in order to actually see, it's like I said about America when the empire's coming down. It's the same with Britain. When Britain was an empire, the only thing we actually done that was actually smart was we accepted it. America probably won't accept it, But then you've got people like Nigel here who thinks that they can rebuild Britain again and make them the superpower. Like, this is how stupid these people are. It's not possible. When you're a superpower and then it goes, it goes. There's no return. Okay? There's no return. You had your fucking time. You've been in politics for 20, 30 years, Nigel. How have you not got the call? I'm like literally half his age. And I even have an understanding how fucking dumb his idea is, but I think he's just like one of those old guys who, you remember, like, you see old people and you tell them to like stop doing something, but they just don't do it. It's like, stop going out and walking when your fucking legs are done and, oh, fucking still fit and young, I'm 25. And then they go out and fucking they fall over and they end up in the hospital and you just say, I just told you not to do it. Oh, fucking boo. And then they're lying in the hospital bed. Oh, maybe I need to hear a little rest. Oh, we tell you fucking rest weeks ago. That's Nigel. Nigel's that old man that you're saying sit down, and he's like, I don't want to sit down. I'm still the young man. He still thinks that he's actually like prevalent enough and even fit enough to be a prime minister. He's not. He knows fuck all about economies. He's more of a showman. This is what this man done. I'll make it up for you nice and perfect right now. This is where this man went. This is how bad his career was. That he had to do a TV show. I'm a Celebrity. That just tells you everything. He was on I'm a Celebrity. The man went on a TV show because his politics was fucking boop.
Am I right in thinking you actually don't sit in the Houses of Parliament, or do you?
No, I was in the European Parliament 21 years. I'm out now.
What's the job of being in the European Parliament?
Make laws. They were. I mean, when we were members of the EU, they helped to shape more laws than the British Parliament.
And you didn't like some of the laws that were being made?
I didn't like the way they were being made. Well, once something had passed through the European legislative system, there was nothing the British Parliament could do to change it. Nothing.
I didn't know he used to work for the European Parliament. I thought that he was just like...
See, that was the thing. Britain, when they were in the European Union, when European turned and said, you're not allowed to have chlorine in your meat, you're not allowed to have beef that looks brown, you're not allowed to have beef that looks red, or you're not allowed to actually have a particular thing. Because you're in the European Union, every country had to accept it. But he was like the front man for like the UK, so essentially he was like the UK's ambassador to like the European where he used to speak. But what he used to do was he used to actually like attack all the time, bringing European countries down, like Britain's better than Spain and Britain's better than Greece and Britain is not bailing out Greece and Britain's not this and Britain's not that, and it's, but look at him now, he's like running to try and be prime minister to run the fucking country.
Like this little MP troublemaker.
He's a joke. He's an absolute joke.
You know, Brexit baffled me because I didn't know what those European laws were. So how would I know what I was actually voting for?
Sure.
So what were the main concern in European laws that you were frightened of?
Well, I think we should make our own laws on farming, fishing, financial services.
The farming went down, the fishing went down, the financial services has went pretty bad, the insurance industry is fucking really bleak.
We should make our own laws on environmental law.
We haven't made any laws, we haven't changed immigration.
Be in charge of our own country.
We're not in charge of our own country.
And once we're in charge, it doesn't guarantee things are better, but it means we're in charge.
It doesn't mean it's better, but we're in charge.
Well, they've got it. They haven't used it that well. I agree, but we do have that power.
The costs that we've incurred since leaving the European Union is just astronomical.
Well, and the savings too. We've saved a lot of money too.
Yeah, we're not seeing that.
But
exactly.
The general people outside.
Look, he's like, look, that's a perfect picture actually. We aren't seeing these savings.
No, and that's what people are about.
And that's what people are pissed off about.
So we were
Barely self-serves. Oh, how do I get out? How do I get out of this question? As a typical politician, how do I weasel myself out of this? How can I make up some excuse for this? Promised X amount going to the NHS.
Promised X amount going to the NHS.
Well, I think it did, to be honest. Let's check that out. Let's fact check that then. NHS. Money. Since Brexit. I'd like to think they've actually increased it, but let's fact check it. Is the UK financially worse off? Economists and analysts at Cambridge Economics found that by 2035, the UK is anticipated to have 3 million fewer jobs, 32% lower investment, 5% lower exports, and 16% lower imports since leaving the EU. And that's not including tariffs by Trump. He's a fucking dummy, but so we're not better off. Who thinks we're going to be better off, to be honest? The next Prime Minister? Really?
Did, to be honest,
but bottomless pit, I'm afraid. Because he don't fucking know, okay? He don't fucking know like the rest don't. They're dummies, they're thick people, they're uneducated, they think they know politics, they think they know everything. Do you know what they are? Rejects in society, want to be popular in society. They'll say anything, they'll do anything. You ever seen them? Like, you'll see you have like Trump going to McDonald's, like, and everybody's like, wow, Trump's in McDonald's, oh. That's a bit like Nigel Farage going to the bar and having a fucking pint, and it becomes like, Nigel came into the bar for a pint. Like, are you guys really that fucking brain dead? Neurological thick? No wonder Elon wants to put chips in your brain. You're actually that stupid you'd actually accept it. Look at these guys. I'm the dummy, but no wonder like YouTube shadow bans me. I don't fucking blame them. Because you're getting an education when I'm on. You know, listen to this stupid shit. That's easily, if you just open your eyes, visible to see.
Force were foreign born. Today, 21 are foreign.
Tell us how you're going to fix it, Nigel. We're broken.
On average of about 3% per worker, which of course doesn't really mean very much.
No, it doesn't, no.
Money, but if you're earning £20,000 a year, it does mean quite a lot.
Yeah.
And interestingly,
how much are you earning?
England in 2015 produced a report showing a direct link between numbers of foreign-born workers and wage suppression, yet the whole thing was completely and utterly covered up. The impact, of course, on wages is worse than that, given that there are 500,000, 700,000, who knows, people working in the illegal economy, leading to further wage suppression. The greatest myth, of course, is that it will be good for us, and you must stop moaning about it, because everybody that is here has come to work. Well, try this statistic for size. Foreign-born workers are 40% higher likely to be unemployed than British-born workers. 40% higher for foreign-born people to be on the unemployment register. It's not a statistic I'd ever heard before. It's pretty mind-blowing. And even the argument that, look, most people come here to work, so what is there to complain about? Well, I'm afraid that doesn't work either, because in the last 6 years, net 3 million people have settled in Britain from outside of Europe, and of those, only 16% came on work visas. It's a completely mind-blowing number. Now, it's true to say that many of those who come perhaps will enter the workforce, but you begin to understand that the argument for mass migration, that it's needed for the labour market, actually isn't true, where the majority that come as dependents.
You're going to fix it, Nigel?
Recently published that since 2020, unemployment benefits to foreign-born people have been £36 billion. We are talking simply about eye-watering numbers.
Well, let's talk about eye-watering numbers, because I actually want to see how much did Nigel Farage earn in 2024? Nigel Farage earning more than $1 million a year while an MP. There we go. It says it all, man. Like, he's in here talking about migrants coming abroad in a fucking boat and spending like money, a couple of £1,000. He makes over $1 million a year, standing there like a dipstick, feeding shite to the public, trying to be accepted by the public. Went on a TV show for the public.
The other statistic that I was surprised by was that low-paid migrants, on average, cost the taxpayer £150,000.
He doesn't pay tax, by the way. Just to let you know, I know that. He doesn't pay tax. Okay.
They reach retirement, let alone what that will be afterwards. So let us be clear. Non-selective, in many cases non-working, mass migration into Britain has made everybody in this country poorer. Except, of course, for big...
You. Except you.
employers.
Yeah, let's accept you, Nigel.
Migrant foreign labour, as they can possibly...
So I'm actually going to do it live while I'm doing this video.
Grows every year that British people simply won't do.
Wait, Jimmy fix it?
But we're told it's okay because we're growing, we're getting richer. Gross domestic product is going up.
Wait, Jimmy fix it?
That anybody on the two front benches in Parliament will ever talk about. I did try the other day with
yeah, you're trying very hard, Nigel, but you're failing. You look like an absolute fucking clown to me.
But actually, GDP in gross figures doesn't mean very much. When you have
GDP means everything. GDP means everything. What are you talking about, Nigel? Like, I've got minus GDP, I've got 0.1 GDP, and every other country's like high up on like 2 point, way up to what, China at 6 point, we've got India at 4 point. But GDP doesn't matter. I'm going to fix it because I'm going to like stop the people coming on the boats. Britain doesn't have the infrastructure to stop them coming in the boats. You see North Koreans? North Koreans are like the strictest country on the planet. They've got soldiers across the border. There's people that still escape from North Korea. You can't stop it. Like, you can't stop people coming into the country. You degenerate, ugly... I wouldn't say ugly. Well, he's got ugly politics. That's what I actually meant by it when I'm saying ugly. Not like facial and stuff like that, because I don't look at him that much, but... He's like just his mindset. They're just ugly weasels. They're weasels to me. They're ugly weasels. He's making over £1 million a year. He goes on a TV show. He actually spent a long time in it as well. Like, people were voting and all that. Like, he spent years in the public. He knows how to have people vote for him. But he's just like the rest. In fact, he's worse. I would actually trust Boris more than I'd actually trust him. Because he literally doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. He talked about Brexit, we left Brexit, the country's worst off. He said we'd be better, we're worse. Now he's out here campaigning to be a Prime Minister. I mean, if he ever had to get into the actual being the Prime Minister of Britain, then... he's literally an immigrant, by the way. I would actually say he's an immigrant. He's like an immigrant that's trying to run to be a Prime Minister. Even though he was born in Britain, he's an immigrant to me. He's actually an immigrant. He's someone who would actually destroy the country because for some weird reason he's been in politics for so long and still doesn't even have an understanding on what politics is.
A population that's rising by 750,000 or 1 million every year, directly as a result of open borders. Why not look at GDP per capita? But no, nobody wants to engage with that. Well, the last 2 years have seen record levels of migration into Britain, and GDP per capita has fallen in 6 of the last 8 quarters.
I just said that, Nigel, because it was basic logic. See, you're trying to educate people, you're trying to make people think that it's no your fault. Even though you're the one that was talking about sitting on the at the French fucking waters talking about immigrants, you absolutely told about how Boris was this great guy because he wanted to Brexit. You spoke about Brexit for fucking years, and now you're saying it's not my fault. I mean, I did vote for Brexit, but it's no my fault that Brexit went bad. It's I'm going to fix it. Create a solution and fix it.
We are getting poorer as a result of policies started by the Labour Party, accelerated...
It started by the Labour Party. Labour Party's not been in power for 14 years, Nigel. You're losing your neurons like Trump.
None of which, of course, means that we in this country don't want high-skilled...
We don't want you, Nigel. We don't want you in Britain anymore. Go back to America. Go and suck up Trump's arse.
But we have to discriminate. Yes, that's the word I'm going to use. It means choose.
We have to discriminate. So, over in America, America was built by immigrants. But now, immigrants are rapists and just terrible, terrible people, even though the nation was built on it. Okay. But now Britain, Nigel's the new Britain. The new... We have to be racist. We have to be immigrationist. We need to... If you want to come to the UK, you have to be punished. You must be sent over to El Salvador. You must be... Because I'm copying Trump, because I don't really have any personality, so I'm going to copy another man who's not really got much of a personality, but American people, they seem to have slopped it up like noodles, and I'm going to try and do the same, but we're not that stupid, Nigel.
We have to discriminate in terms of who comes into our country and in...
You can't stop people coming into the country, you fucking donut.
Rational debate about housing
Dummy.
is impossible.
It's impossible, exactly.
To engage other party leaders in a rational debate about the terrible housing shortage, the cost of housing and rents in this country. Nobody...
The terrible housing and rent, okay? Nigel. They're literally buying farmland to put houses down because there's so much immigration caused by Brexit. Now he's complaining that immigrants are taking over.
Of the house price rises...
God, these people, I swear. Can these people like him just need to like go away into a tomb?
To immigration and the rising population. Indeed, even the Ministry of Housing themselves said in 2018, again, suppressed, not publicised...
It's funny why he's smiling through it as well. Like, watch him smiling, because he's just saying it because he's trying to like... He's just a lonely guy who's tried to be successful for years and just never made it. And this is his last punt, and he's copying an American
1% increase in the number of
stupid move
leads to a 2% increase in cost. And just think on this, there were 23.7 million households when Mr. Blair came to power. There are now 28.5 million households. Net migration has increased the population by 10 million in the last 20 years. And the same goes for rent. Even in recent years, a third of rent rises since 2020 are directly down to rising population, which means for the average renter, another £1,000 a year. And think on this. This government is determined to build 1.5 million new homes in the lifetime of this parliament, just as the government before was committed to the same figure.
How much are you going to build, Nigel?
Any impact on the housing crisis in Britain in any way at all.
Do you know how Nigel will build his homes? He'll sell them to... He'll sell so much land to Trump and have him build houses on them.
We currently have to build a new
fucking
house
idiot.
Every 2 minutes. Yes, that's right. We have to build one new house every 2 minutes just to cope.
Just like Trump will get every country coming every 2 minutes, or I mean one every 90 days.
Backlog that we built up, and perhaps one of the areas
can we move forward
on the Turkish barbershops.
Barber now.
I've been talking about this for some years. I even raised it when I announced that I was going to stand in a general election last year on the 3rd of June. And several in the press corps, I just thought I was off my rocker, and they probably still do. But
Yeah.
and I made the point that these are springing up everywhere. They take cash only, they don't cut anyone's hair, and they've all got a Lamborghini parked out the back. Well, I'm pleased to say the National Crime...
Turkish barbers don't cut any hair, they've got Lamborghinis. Oh my god. Okay, Nigel. Earning over £1 million a year. Okay.
Agency has now raised
Let's attack small Turkish barbers now.
last month, and perhaps they should follow my social media a little bit more.
Nah, we should delete you, actually.
The Home Secretary has promised that
Can we move forward? What's the next speech? Get anything else?
government is £85,000 a day, and it's the same here in Kent, and it's the same everywhere. The total cost for housing these people is not all met by national government through taxation.
Why is it? He's just going on about immigration. Trump was talking about immigration. Why are you talking about immigration, Nigel? It's not the same. America was built on immigration. They were stupid enough to actually vote Trump in for immigration. They were built by immigration. See, we are different. We accept immigration just as much as what America does. Except years ago, we actually took in people who actually had skills and actually wanted to work, be in the country. People like you, Nigel. I don't even know. People like him, I wouldn't even trust. Like I said, I wouldn't even trust them to go to the shop for toilet roll. I really wouldn't. He's that unreliable. He's just like, I look at him just like some old man who is desperate to like make it, and he's so like at the end of his career that he's still like, just one more try, one more. How did David Cameron get better of me? How did Boris, some idiotic man, get the better of me? And I've been here, and I've been in the European Parliament, and I've had 3 parties, and I've failed all the time, and I've been on TV shows, and I'm trying to build up my popularity. I just want to be a Prime Minister. It's not going to happen, Nigel. You're an idiot. So yeah, I'm pretty much done. Let's just do a random one. Let's give Nigel the final say. I'll even close my eyes.
Who applied to be candidates for the county council elections were rejected.
Pretty much. Okay, we're done. Have a nice day, Nigel. Good luck with the runs and whatever it might be. And yeah. America.